We are finally live. I have had some technical problems this morning, and I called on my great friend Vienna and an excellent muscle tester. You've seen her before helping me, and asked her to co-host with me. And then when we have a co-host, some other buttons don't work right. So I think we finally have it now. We're going to be talking about allergies today. And I think that's very appropriate. We're coming into allergy season, and so many people are, I'm just going to put it right out there. We use so many over-the-counter prescriptions. We use so many pharmaceutical prescriptions for our allergies. And many of you on this particular idea with WAVwatch and starting to use alternative ideas are not necessarily interested in those. There are more and more cautionary problems. There are more and more lawsuits. The list is just adding up. So we need to be informed about some ideas that we could do for allergies. So here we go. Well, here we go again, Vienna. Won't let me share a screen.
Hey, this is Mark Brewer.
Yes.
For many years, I've used a neti pot for allergies, but
that is a good choice, don't you think? I like that.
I moved from Colorado to North Carolina and became a Claritin addict because of the difference of the environment. And I started using a neti pot and have never used anything else since. I have noticed and tried a couple of the allergy wave files on here, but I have too many other things I run on here to worry about allergies right now.
Hey, Linda, this is Libby.
Yes, any other comments while we're trying to get here, but yes, this is a perfect time for comments.
What you need to do is to take Vienna off being co-host, then open up your PowerPoint, and then you can put her back on as co-host. Because
well, I can't even get her off a co-host right now. I've been fiddling for 2 minutes. So wow, what a fun thing to have on Facebook, my embarrassment. So, oh.
Vienna, you're just the problem today. That's all I can say.
Can you remove yourself from host, Vienna?
I just looked to see, and I don't see a way to do that. I could drop out of the meeting and come back.
Maybe do that, because now it's stuck in it. Okay. Remove the pin. I don't know, maybe.
Hopefully I don't end the meeting.
I can definitely see where they've changed a little bit on Zoom. It's different because we didn't used to have the blue button over here. So they made some upgrades.
Okay, so Vienna went out. Let me see what I can do now. That looks like that worked. Sorry, Vienna. Really put you on the spot there. So finally, we're ready. And again, I do apologize. It's been just a wonderful morning, and it's going to get more wonderful as I put the positive spin on it. So what we're talking about is allergies. And of course, according to what we could do maybe with WAVwatch and some other natural ideas. And don't forget that when I do get Facebook recorded correctly, we already have about 60 hours of different teaching ideas or segments that are completely different. So if you have a topic or an idea, you could search for it, and maybe you could share those with different people. And then all of these have been transferred over to Rumble, and most of them or different segments are available on YouTube. So that should make that okay that way. So then we also have different ideas that you can see, some YouTube shorts and things like that. So the last thing that I wanted to mention that I always like to mention is that The WAVwatch is not a medical device. We are simply using acoustical frequencies, and these are still considered experimental, although acoustical frequencies began with the beginning of the world. God spoke us into existence, but they're still considered, again, experimental. And so we are not making any claims. We're just trying to say that the WAVwatch has some possibilities. When we have testimonies, they're strictly volunteer. No one's being reimbursed. We do use some medical names, but this is not saying that this is a medical diagnosis. We had to use those names in order to describe the problem, so that you would understand and look at what you were being what you were looking at is the way to say that. So now we're adding Vienna back as a host again. We'll see where we go. Okay. So what happened to my screen? Vienna, that's not working. As soon as I put you on, my screen disappeared. My screen was up and everything.
Linda, does she need to be on today to show the?
She was just letting people in for me. There were so many participants coming in. So Vienna, can you go back out again and come back in, and I won't make you a host, I guess. My apologies. I didn't even know this would happen.
Or anything like that, or can she just weigh in as you're going along?
Pardon?
I just said, does she have to be co-host, or can she just weigh in as you're going along with this?
She has to be co-host.
We were just trying for me to let people in.
So
Maybe, how about assign Libby as co-host now while I'm host, and then when I hop out, you'll still have a co-host.
I got to get my screen up first. And last time I did it, I'll just go ahead and finish up.
All right, I'm going to assign it to you. Here we go.
I'll have you back out.
Okay.
Wow. Positive, fun things. All right. I know you can all see my screen again, and we'll continue to let people in as they come in. Again, I just went over the ideas why we are going over the WAVwatch and how important it is during this allergy season to be there and to look at different ideas besides the WAVwatch, some natural ideas. So allergies are the 6th leading cause of chronic illness in the U.S. And that just tells us how important it is. Quote unquote, costs could exceed $18 billion for our allergy problems. So anytime that we can do something different and help people to get off of medication or not use medication and save money, cut down on this 18 billion, we're going to be ahead of the game. So the WAVwatch has been very helpful with some of these ideas. I have quite a few allergy testimonies, and of course I'm not necessarily putting them on the screen right now, but just letting you know that people have appreciated some of the ideas for the allergies. So we could definitely be heading into problems that you don't even know about. That's what gets me, is that allergies can come and go. You could have an allergy that you did not even know you had, and all of a sudden it is a deathly problem. That's the way it is. So allergies are very unusual. I wish I actually knew more about them. There's many of you that probably have had allergy tests done of different kinds because there are so many kinds of allergies. But again, we do see that 30 to 40% of people are affected. They are saying that there's more and more problems with skin allergies and food allergies with our younger children. And of course, that's a bandwagon I can get on very easily, but we have we have worse nutrition. We don't have minerals in our diet. We only have, refined salt. That's a huge problem, in my opinion, that increases the allergies. The food is GMO. There are toxins in the air. We could go on and on. Everybody could be with me on this bandwagon, but we have so many problems with allergies, and our children are getting hurt worse and worse, having more and more problems. So these are some things that you could do on the WAVwatch, and that is specifically go to allergies. Now, I have added a few of those ideas with the newest version of the WAVwatch. And if some of you haven't caught up, I now have a WAVwatch that has 1,000 frequencies on it. And it is selling for $100 more. I apologize for that. I always try to keep it as low as I can, but I did have a lot of work done on it so that it's more efficient with water, so that hopefully we're not getting it wet as much. It's not water proof, it is water resistant. And hopefully that means that when you wear it, for a long period of times, or you're sweating, that we have gotten that protected. Now, I can't make any promises, but that's what I paid, to have that done, so that we have more water resistant in the new watch. We have 1,000 frequencies. And then we also have one more little setting that helps you to rotate a lot of frequencies all night long. So if you picked a category, you can click that category and it might rotate 20 ideas all night long. We did not have that before. We could rotate one idea, we could loop one idea, but this time we can loop, as many ideas as you put that on for. So those are the major ideas that are added to the new WAVwatch. And if you are interested, you could order a TF card for $60 to update your WAVwatch that you do have right now. You could update that to the 1,000 frequencies, but if it is an older watch, it still isn't water resistant, and it still doesn't have that fourth looping segment on it, but you do have the 1,000 frequencies. So anyway, I did the best I could and try to give you a model that we could update to some extent. So on allergies, some of the new ones that I've added are allergy 1 and inflammation, allergy 2, liver support, food allergy 1 and food allergy, pollen allergies, and I believe the hive detox is a new one also. So these are some newer ideas, but there's lots of other things that you could do. So you can use these and work with your allergies whenever you want to. Now, that's a big question for people. They're always saying, well, how long do I run it? And, does it work in, XYZ amount of time? There is no right or wrong. There is no set time for everyone. Basically, when I developed this, with the studies that I did for different frequencies, they said a minimum of 8 minutes was good, a minimum, So that's what I put on the watch on a lot of ideas, so that we could cram more ideas in, so that we could get up to 1,000, on one TF card. And so that was important for me to be able to do. Then you are in charge of your self-care, and you're going to play it, whether you want to loop it all night long, whether you want to play it for 2 hours, whether you want to play it for an hour while you're watching something on TV, or whether you're driving along and you got 5 hours to play something. It's not necessarily meaning that you're going to hurt yourself. Aren't you listening to music if you're driving? Aren't you listening to some type of acoustical frequency, 24 hours a day? So you can make the decision on how long that you want to run that. So these are just some choices. Then allergies, of course, sometimes we think we know a little bit about allergies, and I was just kind of blown away on how much I didn't know, about anything. It just goes on and on. I just learn so much every week. So, of course, we're reacting to something, to a pollen, a bee, pet dander, foods, anything. We are having a reaction, and the reaction varies again from person to person. And so it could be very minor, or you could go into an anaphylactic, shock. So it could be very life-threatening, and sometimes you do not know when it's going to happen. Now, I hate to say that this is one of my worst stories or favorite stories. I'm not sure how you'd say that, but I actually worked with my own daughter-in-law who is from Nashville, and I don't get to work with her very often because of the distance. And she has a lot of very strange allergies. And one of the last times that I tested her, it basically said that she had an allergy to peanuts. And she loves the system that I use, which is called a BioMeridian, and it is available at International Health Technologies, IHT.com, ihtbio.com. And anyway, this particular system that checks 50,000 frequencies basically said that she was allergic to peanuts. And she trusted the system, but she said, how is that possible? I just had peanuts 2 weeks ago and nothing happened. And I said, I don't know, but peanuts are very dangerous. Please be careful and pay attention. Well, 2 weeks later, my son called and he said, Mom, your machine saved her life. He said he kissed her after he had peanuts or peanut butter, something. And she went into an anaphylactic shock after a kiss, when 2 weeks before she had eaten peanuts without any problem. So that's what our body does to us. It builds up, and at some point in time, it can happen to different people, and you never know what sets it off or what allows it to happen, just like this. So now, for some reason, she is so allergic to peanuts, she could be driving in an area where there's a peanut factory and have problems. So be careful and pay attention to different ideas and be prepared once in a while. So this is all about inflammation, obviously. So one of the first things that you could play on your watch would be inflammation. Now, there's some that are labeled inflammation. There's some that are labeled inflammation, pain, and trauma. Some, there's some different designations. So you could try whichever one you want. And again, Vienna's here today a little bit. If you need a little bit more help with muscle testing, she's kind of my go-to person for that. But we've had some ideas on muscle testing before, and you could muscle test some of those if you would like to, or you could just start when spring or fall comes and you know that you tend to have allergies, start playing inflammation right away when you get any type of a little irritation. So there are lots of problems, but immunity problems start with the inflammation. I thought this was a cute little chart, and it's from allergies.hub. So these are some signs and symptoms, that we are having an allergy. Now, some people do not have these obvious signs and symptoms, but if we're starting to have an itchy mouth, a swelling face, a tongue, swelling lips, those are all pretty obvious. But sometimes we're not associating, abdominal pain, vomiting, dizziness, with an allergy as much. Diarrhea, those may be questionable a little bit more. But there are so many problems with allergies and signs and symptoms that this one was just kind of a cute one. Now we want to go ahead, because if you're having any of these troubles, they could be allergies. And also, so basically, again, all of these problems can add up, and then there can be more. So if you're having eczema, you can actually play that, but also know that you'd want to play through the allergies too. And a lot of times, if you're playing nausea and you've just eaten something, play through the allergies also. So you have to be your own self-care person. So again, you may want to look on the WAVwatch for other ideas, not in the allergy folder specifically. So just because of some of these symptoms, so if you're having a runny, stuffy nose, obviously that's probably one of the first ones that we think of when we're thinking, oh, the allergies are coming out. watery, red, or swollen eyes. And so that one is in the eye folder, conjunctivitis. So you would go to the eye folder with some help with that. And there's also sinus categories that you could play. You could play many different areas. You don't just have to stop at the category labeled allergies. So again, the whole idea is that you are trying to do something naturally for your body, and nothing gets more natural than an acoustical frequency, in my opinion. So these are some other ones. You might have a lot of swelling. And so that is very important. I did have a young man have a bee bite, or excuse me, a spider bite recently, and he had a lot of swelling at that insect bite. So his mother actually played the spider bite on that, and that swelling went down. But another idea would have been the allergies, possibly. So if we have a cough or chest problems, wheezing, or shortness of breath, again, you could go to the categories that cover some of that. But hopefully, the WAVwatch is going to cover that just in the allergy category. But if it doesn't, don't stop there. Keep moving on. Sometimes that's what we do when we have allergies really bad and somebody has Tylenol in the cabinet, or they have an allergy prescription, and it doesn't work the first time, they may just take another one, and they overload themselves. Well, if you try something else with the WAVwatch, you're not going to overload yourself. It's not dangerous like taking too many prescriptions at different times. So even a drug, you could be taking some kind of a drug for your allergies, and it can cause an allergy. So you could get hives from that. You could get an itchy skin. You could get rash, wheezing, facial swelling, and anaphylaxis from just taking some kind of a drug. So very important to know. So seems like I've got one here. So these are the medications also that can be problematic with causing an anaphylactic reaction. So we're talking about all kinds of antibiotics. We're talking about aspirin, over-the-counter pain relievers. And again, people have a headache. The headache doesn't go away, so they take 2 or 3 more. And then all of a sudden they have a huge reaction. So sulfa drugs are huge for reactions from people. Chemotherapy drugs and IVs that have contrast dyes, people are very sensitive and allergic to them. So be very careful of different things that you are taking. And I know I'm saying this for the 3rd time, but that's what we're trying to avoid. We are trying to avoid some of these prescriptions. We're trying to learn to use things that are more natural. So thank you for coming on this today. We're also going to have some other things that could trigger, any kind of allergies. And I haven't mentioned latex very much yet. Some of you might have some information later about someone who might have a latex allergy. And until you are really around somebody who has a specific allergy, you don't realize how much it changes their life. So like my daughter-in-law with the peanut allergy, she can't eat foods at restaurants, or maybe even at somebody's home, thinking that they might have used peanuts in it. So that puts, everybody that has a severe allergy to something in a little bit of a fear factor. So need I say, you need to play some emotional ideas also and take care of your emotions when you're traveling or you're around food from different sources that you might not know, how they're fixed and prepared. And, an obvious one would be that, I think she had a brownie one time and didn't realize there were nuts in it, Ta-da. And so that can happen when people are allergic to latex in a different way. Of course, you're never going to know about bee stings and wasps until it happens, and all of a sudden you're, having severe problems. We all know we have more and more pollen we have more and more toxins from the air. I've talked about that before. Who knows what we are sensitive to that is trickling down from our air? And maybe I don't want to go there today, but if anybody wants to add to that something that, because people are starting to have allergies, they go outside. There's even another slide coming that says that we can be sensitive to water. That was news to me, but so many allergens. So another idea to play is asthma. If you have allergy, you're going to have some asthma problems. So it goes back and forth. Which one, is the egg before the chicken, or vice versa. So you could have allergy-induced asthma. You could have sinusitis. You could get infections of the ears or the lungs from these allergy complications. So we have these on the WAVwatch. Again, go to some different areas to look up some ideas. And then I hope Janie's on today, because I know she has a testimony or knows somebody that the anaphylaxis really did help one day. So there is something that you can do. Just remember that the anaphylaxis code is in the allergy folder, self-care and allergy. So you have all kinds of things on the WAVwatch that you can do. It's just not limited to the allergy idea. We've already kind of covered this, but just to let you look at that again or whatever, all kinds of medications can cause reactions. Yes. Okay. So here we go again. Food allergens are the most common. Okay. Now this is the sad part, and I copied this from officer.com. I like this site a lot. This was teaching police officers who may need to help somebody at some point in time, that over 15 million people have allergies, 6 million children. But this is the statistic that got me. Emergency visits for food acute reactions happen every 3 minutes, and food-induced reactions happen every 6 minutes somewhere. Now, doesn't that just kind of blow you away? So you see why you need the WAVwatch, so that you have something that can be a little bit protective of you. Again, I'm not saying it's the be-all, end-all. I'm saying that sometimes these things happen when we're traveling or out and about, or, whatever. And it's so nice to just have something on your wrist or in your purse or your glove compartment, wherever you're carrying it, because we don't carry a lot of our prescriptions around at all. We don't want to, so we may not have something with us, and we may need something right away. So this is obviously teaching that epinephrine is something that schools are going to use when children have allergies. So they're saying milk and eggs, fish, shellfish, of course, peanuts, nuts, soy, and wheat are the major ones. So it's huge what we are doing in our food when we do not do a good job. So again, from officer.com, here's how epinephrine works. So if we need this information, if you need to put it in your brain a little bit, I can read it really well. Remember, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm not a specialist in this, and you aren't either. But sometimes when we read something more than once, our brain saves it a little bit better. So it's going to decrease swelling and help the blood pressure, because some people, when they are having an anaphylactic shock, their cardiac go into cardiac arrest, and their muscles also close up, and their airways constrict. So this is what the epinephrine is for. And then it stops some of the release of these allergens and the chemicals connected with them, which stops the reaction. So that's why people carry that around. And it's very important. You may not have it, you may not be able to do anything, but maybe you could get some support, Or in the meantime, if someone is really, really in danger, then you need to, you might have the WAVwatch, but you need to get support, more support and more help, obviously, and take them to the ER or whatever is necessary. And that's the season we're coming up with. Some people are severely having problems in the spring, and some people have severe allergies in the fall. So you need to know your body and how to work on it and improve it. But don't forget that sometimes your body doesn't listen to some of the things you're doing, and you can become reactive to something with no warning whatsoever. Two things that you could do to help right away before allergy season really sets in is to make sure that you're supporting your liver and your gut health. Both of those ideas are extremely important for our allergies. So these are specific ideas on the WAVwatch. So you could go to liver, and then it also tells you can go to detox, because there's a liver detox, there's a kidney and liver detox. You could also go to viruses, hepatitis. So that would also be something, because these viruses, some viruses are really going to bother your liver. And so you keep going one step back. Why is your liver not functioning very well? Maybe it's affected by a virus, or maybe it's affected by a parasite. You may not know, you may be guessing, but you can dig deeper. You have the ability on the WAVwatch to do that. Now, the exact same thing with with digestive. We have all of these ideas with digestive, and you could run those. But don't forget that possibly bacteria are messing up your digestive system, that parasites could be messing it, mold could be messing with it. So again, if you're not having some relief, jump to probably the in conclusion or the beginning. That's the way to say it. Sometimes that's the last thing we think to work on, but maybe you could jump there first and start with bacteria, viruses, parasites, molds, to kind of clean your system out, because they bother the digestive system. They bother the liver. So work on some of these ideas if you're definitely a person who has a lot of allergy problems. Get to work on it before the season really kicks in. There were so many pictures available and lots of ideas about hives. We're kind of down to some of the last final ideas, but hives can have such a different look on everybody. They can last for, a couple of days. They can last for weeks. They can last for months. And so they're called wheels, is the actual name for the look of a hive. And hives affect 1 in 5 people. Didn't know that. And they say that they really do not know the exact mechanism behind what is causing them. So there is a new study going on, and I'm not sure I can explain it all, but sadly, in my opinion, they were injecting people with something that would cause them a rash so that they could study mathematically what was going on with that. And then, of course, they're extrapolating that information, because medically wasn't, they weren't coming up with any answers. So they were doing some mathematical modes to see if they could figure out what to do for hives, because 1 in 5 people have that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then this is the university that was doing this study with mathematically. So they said that within 125 minutes, that whatever they injected into this person, this is the rash that came up. This one was 125 minutes also. This one had a rash at 55, and this one had a rash at 90 minutes. So they were trying to do those studies and see what they could learn by actually injecting people with them. So I'm sure glad I wasn't one of those volunteers to be studied. And I hope none of you have had any problems with this, but people do. People around you are going to have all kinds of things. So again, there are known causes for urticaria, which is another name for hives. So I have one frequency listed that just says hives, and people recognize that, but sometimes they don't recognize the name urticaria. So that is another word for hives. And because there are two different designations, it's two different frequencies. So they can be completely different. And these frequencies were measured by different people, by different systems, probably by different organizations over the years. Don't forget, these frequencies basically started with Rife, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife. And then over the years, several other people have studied with them or, revived his ideas and done some measurements also. So if there's more than one word or more than one designation, or it says allergy 1, allergy 2, food allergy 1, food allergy 2, it's just meaning that those are different measurements taken usually by different organizations or groups that were measuring the frequencies. And then this is some more ideas on the hives. It could be caused from some different things. And of course, they're saying that sunlight and water can cause hives. Now you go figure that one out. What is causing the problems? And I do know a friend from high school that when she was in high school, so that would have been 50 years ago, that she had trouble with the sunlight, that she had hives at that point in time. So although our sunlight has gotten worse and dirtier and more things in it, even 50 years ago, people could have problems with that. So what happens to our bodies? Seriously, they still don't have it figured out what is going to cause hives. So don't forget emotional stress. I've already mentioned that once, can cause some reactions, and we're not prone to think about that a lot. So if we would go to a medical doctor, they might suggest antihistamines like the Benadryl, anti-itch creams, an adrenaline shot, and steroids. And so if that's the route that you want to go, or somebody that, that's all they know to do, hopefully by the end of this presentation and people sharing a few more ideas, you'll see that there are some different things. We might not have to rely on this as much as some people do. Everybody has a choice. You are in charge of your healthcare and self-care. So just to kind of finish this up, I've always mentioned that I love allergy blends and essential oils for different kinds of allergies. There's lots of different recipes, and I just captured this one because it's very specific. It says to put in a 10 milliliter bottle, 20 drops of lemon, 20 drops of peppermint, and 20 drops of lavender, and then top that off with the FCO. So that's just a great idea. And I got this off Pinterest. You can find this all over the place. So there are different allergy blends that you can make. So I don't know if you're an essential oil person, but don't forget, essential oils are very high vibrations. They're very good frequencies. So that's why I love them. And then Courtney Olson, who works with me, has a couple little boys, and herself, she is actually allergic to all kinds of fruit. So her life changed when she did some testing and found out that she was allergic to fruit. And so you never know what your allergy could be or why that particular problem. But anyway, she gave me an idea that she uses a stinging nettle blend. And you can get 50% off if you use this link, and you can go there, and she's got 3 or 4 blends that she made up that you can get 15% off, and she orders these also. So you never know when you might need something different or an addition. So there's several different ideas, and I know people have seen natural things that they can use for allergies. So I kind of tried to cover a few ideas on the WAVwatch. And again, you can use so many things. Our body is synergistic. It needs many ideas. And again, think through. Your liver and your gut has to be functioning correctly before allergy season starts so that you don't get overloaded. The liver has 500 jobs to do every day. And if it gets overloaded for some reason, it can't detoxify. And then all of a sudden, it's going to store these toxins somewhere in your body. And voila, you might have eczema, because the liver isn't working. So then think backwards. What is causing the liver to malfunction? Is it a nutritional shortage? Do you need some nutrients for that? Do you need to kill parasites, viruses, bacteria, that kind of thing? So be proactive and get started so that you have no allergy season. That's the way I say it. You don't want to have an allergy season. You want to bypass it completely. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and we'll open up the chat, and let me see if I can let some of you just unmute yourselves and, just be hesitant, polite, and let's see if there's any questions or anything that I could answer.
Linda,
Yes.
I do have a question. I have a friend whose tailbone hurts, but has not had an injury. She describes it more like it's a restless tailbone instead of restless leg syndrome. And my husband and I decided to have a little ministry with the WAVwatch. We bought an extra one to let people try it to see if it helps them. So she's using it right now. And she's run bone regeneration and the bone file and inflammation and something else. But she says it hasn't really helped. And so I was wondering if anybody, you or anybody, had an idea what I could suggest to her.
So I'm not really for sure. Has she done anything in wounds and healing, wound regeneration, RNA, DNA?
No, she hasn't done that. I can have her run that.
Okay. And then I would have her actually run everything that's in the joint folder. Sometimes, we really specifically look at the back, the lower area, and, ideas about back, but all of those frequencies are similar again. And I know it sounds different than, arm injuries, but somebody's played arm injuries and their back quit hurting, that kind of thing. You never know. So have her play maybe a few more of those. And the arthritis one is in that folder, and the rheumatoid arthritis. So there's more choices in there that could be rather than just
she says she's been told she has osteoarthritis, especially in her hand, and it's on her left hand. So the band kind of bothers it, but she's willing to use it. And on a retreat we're on, it helped her osteoarthritis, but now she says it's not. But she's a very big skeptic, but she's also very excited that this could help. So I'm just trying to work with her. And so she has run osteoarthritis and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
But
You know what, Linda? Oh, Vienna, I can see your hand. Vienna's probably mentioning muscle testing, weren't you, Vienna? That's what you were getting ready to say, because that's exactly what I would recommend is muscle testing.
I can muscle test, but some of these friends of mine, we're a quilter group, and some of them get a little freaked out by muscle testing. So I'm trying to take it slow with her and then say, well, let's not give up. Let's do one more thing. And that will be my last option, I think. I did it to one friend and she goes, you're freaking me out.
Linda,
Sophia?
this is Sophia.
Yes.
And your spine from your brain to your tailbone is an antenna. Okay, so your tailbone is the base of your antenna. And if you doubt me on this, walk as far away from your car as you can so that your key fob doesn't work anymore. And then connect it to your tailbone, and the key fob will turn on your car lights or your horn, because your spine is an antenna. So do EMF detox, because that may be what the antenna is picking up. My thoughts.
Oh my, wonderful idea. See why we
I love
try
this
to
group.
share. Perfect.
I also have one more thing about my friend Linda, who's scared of muscle testing. She She was on a blood thinner. She's had a lot of issues, but they put her on a blood thinner and she lost a lot of blood. It got too thin and wound up in the hospital. But she has a watch and she didn't have the card for blood, so we gave her our card. You know, we switched it out and stuff. I wanted to tell you this, that she is feeling better, and the only thing she's done is run the blood file, you know, and she just keeps growing. I was going to ask, you remember that week when you lost internet and you were talking about blood?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just know that that 17 minutes that the Lord sent me to listen to, because I wasn't going to get on, that was the week I was going to ask you, is there anywhere you can grow blood? And I thought it was the stupidest question on earth. And then you answered it. So she's feeling better. She's not out of the woods, but she goes, I'm telling you, I'm feeling so much better. And I think it's because of this. So I
Oh,
want to say that, but her battery has never been good. Is there something we can do with that?
yes, we can replace batteries. So if you'll text me, let's see, I can give, my number. It's on a lot of the booklets and stuff, or on the back of the
Yeah, I
booklet.
have it on the booklet. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So
So
just, yes. And that's my repairman also. He would be in charge of repairing those batteries or replacing them. And the new batteries, the one I have on right now has lasted 24 to 28 hours. So hopefully that's what we would do, is put that new battery in, and hopefully it would run a
yeah, because
long,
they
long
said
time
it's
for her.
never lasted very long, and her husband keeps plugging it in. And I said, well, I've heard that they last longer than that, and mine does. Mine goes for days.
Yeah.
So
So once in a while
okay.
you just have a glitchy one. I can't say that everything's 100% perfect,
Right.
but it is so nice to be able to know that people are helped by it, even in its imperfection.
I know. She's so excited. She's going to get her blood drawn. We knew she was at 9.8 a couple weeks ago, so she's going to get another blood drawing Friday. And
Wow.
we're all excited to see
So
what the numbers
we
are.
might know
So
something then.
we'll see.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I'll
somebody
let
asked,
you know.
Vienna.
I have one other idea on the tailbone idea is bony structures get either pulled out of place or stabilized out of place slightly just by tension, muscle tension. So run the muscle release, muscle relax,
Okay.
spasm and backache, those kind of things. Because even if you
Okay.
didn't have an accident, tension can pull a tailbone to the side.
Well, I can see that. She does a lot of long arming and all this stuff, and I could see where she might have messed herself up.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Any other comments? I think somebody did ask about babesia, any Lyme disease testimonies. I have had some, personally, some people thought they've had a reaction when they played the Lyme folder. So that tells you that it's doing something, but the testimony wasn't that it quote unquote helped. So I don't necessarily have a testimony unless Vienna.
Both of my parents had Lyme and Babesia and Ehrlichia and several things in the Lyme folder. And dad passed away with Alzheimer's a few years ago, but it wasn't Lyme that took him. And mom, this is probably 15 years ago, they were first diagnosed, and she has no recurring symptoms. And you check her with the biomeridian scan, and it got better and better as she was using frequency related things. And now she has a WAVwatch, and anytime she gets a tick bite, she just sits and runs the tick-borne, the Lyme folder. And so definitely they had babesia, and definitely she's symptom free now.
And I
All
would say,
right.
Linda, too, I have had clients, in particular, I get clients that come down.
Uh-oh.
Whoops, we lost you, Libby. Can anybody hear Libby?
No.
We lost you, Libby.
Antibiotics that never did anything. And she said,
Libby, you were wiped out for about a minute, so maybe start over.
Oh no.
Wow. See, now I don't feel so bad. Things happen. It's crazy.
While we wait for Libby to come back up, I see the question about what might be in our food that helps trigger the inflammation. And I know
Never
on
been able
the,
to do that.
on those-
And yeah, she was just in tears because she knew her body was starting to get rid of the infection or the Lyme's issues that she was having. And I'll never forget that she was just in tears over that.
Okay, I think we still just heard part of your testimony, Libby. It just
Uh-oh.
kept cutting out, but
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
All right. So, and Vienna, go ahead.
yeah. So one of the things that I think you just added in the 1,000 frequencies is glyphosate.
Yes.
So that would potentially be in the food. So that might
Yes.
be a good thing to run.
Somebody was asking that. All right. And then I don't know how many people want to answer this one. Does using Apple earbuds while listening to a tablet cause issues while wearing the WAVwatch? And my phrasing is, I really do not like being hooked up to your computer, to the internet, putting that on your body. It's an overwhelming EMF frequency that your body has to fight all day long. So we have so many invisible frequencies that our body is already fighting, and just like Shafia, Dr. Lau was saying, these EMFs are terrible. So the more you are using EMFs and then trying to combat it with pairing it with the WAVwatch, it's just kind of negating it. It may not be able to jump ahead and help your body when you are really actively, wearing quote unquote an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or all kinds of different technology that we have that actively puts EMF frequencies into your body and you absorb them right there. So to me, they're counterintuitive, counteractive. Any other ways to say that or other ideas on that? Sophia, do you have any answer on that? You really talk about EMFs a lot. I don't know if she's still there, but anyway. Okay, so be careful with that. Other questions or other testimonies?
Yes, Linda.
Linda,
Yes.
I do have, can you hear me? This is Linda Coletti from Tennessee here. I'm speaking of what else is in the food and what else can be causing allergies. I've been vegan for around 40 years, and I've been to some of the best nutritionists that are around in my areas and wherever I've lived. But I knew, and I may have mentioned this on the first call, I don't remember, but dairy is probably one of the biggest and one of the worst, even though we have been told from a child that we need to use it. We do need calcium, we need magnesium to assimilate it. But what is in the dairy products when you don't buy everything organic is the glyphosate, is every antibiotic, everything that animal has ingested. And then everything and actually dairy makes the bones brittle. And dairy is one of the things there's so much osteoporosis and bone disease in the world, but dairy is one of the causes of it. But unfortunately, we have been told that this is what everyone must have. And it is absolutely not the truth. And there's so many chemicals in the food, in processed food. And so those are supposedly, hopefully being taken care of in our new future. So, but dairy is a major, and people with runny noses, you can, correlate with having some dairy. It's in chocolate, it's in cheese, it's in everything that you can think of is hidden dairy. So dairy is a major problem. So
Yes, it
that's
is.
my to say.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question and make some I didn't realize I was
It's our sharing time, so go ahead.
Yes, I'm Patricia Slusher. I'm also an ND and a CN, and I have a million testimonials, but I have a couple quick things to add to first. Well, first, one real quick question. I bought the new card, and you sent me a new book, but are those new frequencies, that 150 extra, are they in here in the new one? You know, the new things you added?
Yes, if the booklet says 1,000 frequencies, they're listed in there.
Well, no, it doesn't, but that's what you, let's see.
Right on the front.
Oh,
if
it does.
says
Okay, the
1,000
new one does.
frequencies.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, something I wanted to add back to hives, because listen, I was the poster child of that until I became a naturopath, and I'm a very proficient muscle tester. And so what happened, it started out with, I was at one of my kids' weddings and they had shrimp, and I broke out in hives. When I say it was bad, I'm talking, there wasn't those pictures that didn't even come close, my entire body. And we were stranded somewhere anyway. They did have some Benadryl, got rid of it. But here was the issue. I had a leaky gut. And like you talked about earlier, leaky gut, let me tell you, that is huge, you know, repairing that. And the other thing that also people get hives is if they're low in HCl. And that was in my, actually in my coursework that I have. So people can just be low in hydrochloric acid, and that really can cause people to get that. But fixing the leaky gut, like you said, oh my God, that was huge. I can eat shrimp now, not a problem. Yeah. But again, I had to fix all of that. Took a while before so I highly recommend that. And one quick testimonial, I just cannot tell you how much I've appreciated this. I have a eustachian tube that collapses all the time, which then gets infection, and then it goes into otitis media, et cetera, et cetera. And boy, when I play the organ, the ear frequencies and that, and bacteria and so forth, that has knocked it out. And the other thing, if people don't know about this, let's say, you know, you're going someplace that has a lot of COVID, that viral immune, I put my watch on, tune it into the viral immune, and I am not kidding you, that has helped tremendously. Maybe where you all are, there's not a lot of COVID, but where we are here in North Carolina on the coast, it is horrible here. You can't go anywhere without getting it. So anyway, viral immune, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
I
you
think
for what
Jamie
you've done.
wanted to say something, and then Shelley has her hand up. Shelley, next in line, maybe.
Yes, this is Janie, real quick, but I'm totally sold on your anaphylaxis, which I've told you a couple of years ago when my grandson, which is here with me today, I have no pictures of him, but anyway, he's here, and he came in with a wheat allergy so bad he almost couldn't breathe or anything. And he said, Grandma, I've really got a problem. What do I do about it? So I put the watch on him, and in 10 minutes, he said, Grandma, it's working. And 20 minutes, he said, Grandma, it's all over, and put on his hat and went out the door. And I have also come to the conclusion on myself that anaphylaxis is almost the best thing that I can do for myself. It seems like if I've got anything that I can't seem to pinpoint to use on the watch that I really even know what to pick from, just pick anaphylaxis. That maybe tell you that there's an allergy in behind all this stuff someplace or something. Anaphylaxis may take care of it. And I found that the best thing for me to go to really fast is that, and find out, am I looking for the right item or not? And last night was an example. I went to bed and my legs started hurting really bad in the middle of the night. I didn't know what to do. I turned on anaphylaxis and I slept, and it probably ran anaphylaxis for 4 or 5 hours before I woke up. And I'm still happy, and my legs better than all 9 yards today. So that is my testimony for anaphylaxis.
Okay, I knew you had one, but it sounded like you had more than one. Okay. Is Shelley still hanging on? Go ahead, Shelley.
Hi, Linda. I have your watch and I really love it a lot, and it has helped me get off pain meds quite a bit and cut down on my BP medicine. But what I was wondering about was, one, can you turn it on and listen to it while it's charging. That way, you know, you kind of get the hearing part of not wearing it, but you're listening to it. I didn't know if that might ruin the battery or take longer to charge.
I think that's hard on the battery. You should kind of click it where it goes off and then it kind of comes on. It shows you the battery charging, but the watch should be off when you're charging it, if possible, you know.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm doing, but I just wanted to double check. And then also, I've been trying to do the muscle testing. I watched your video like 3 times that you did, last week or the week before about doing the muscle testing. I don't know. I guess I just have trouble with it, but I did order my Redmond salt and I'm getting that. It's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So I'm very excited to try that. Hopefully that's going to help me with a lot of issues. I have the allergies and I do have a gluten allergy. So I've been trying to do different things with that.
Yes, and I've covered that several times and didn't know whether to recover it, you know, but don't forget that's the right kind of unrefined sea salt can do amazing. It resets the HCl in your system and then your allergies tend to fade. So that's an easy way to do that.
Yes. So thank you for all the information you always provide. I love your videos. I rewatch them over and over again. So thank you.
I'm a stutterer sometimes, so thank you. Someone is asking, where can I find the anti-shedding frequencies? And basically those are in detox and they're the very last one, viral detox. So viruses, think vaccinations, think shedding. Okay. And so that's a combination of ideas there. And then also comment the chakras aren't listed in order. I specifically asked them to be, so I'm not sure that I can change those. I mean, I can't change them. You'll have to, do something on your own on that. Other questions or any comments?
Linda, someone asked about a go-to for if you're out to dinner and then don't feel well, and food poisoning was one that's helped me before.
Yes, and it is in food. It's in self-care, food poisoning. Mm-hmm. Yep, I would definitely run that. Yep. Any other questions? I'm trying to read some here, but missing some of them.
For someone who has had the vaccine, my friend with the tailbone also took the vaccines, and I'm shocked she did, but I'm not going to tell her that you did a mistake, but she'll run anything on the watch. So I thought, well, I'll just tell her to run this and see if it works. So is it the detox file that's good for her?
Yeah. Yes.
Spike protein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the new one, I did add, I tried to add spike protein. I'm not sure they got it added correctly. Sometimes they, I have them made, I have them specific. I had the spike protein added, and to me, it doesn't look like it quite got there. So, but we'll get it updated on another one if it isn't right. But we do have biofilm and another one that's in the spike protein category. So I was able to put some there, but I already had it covered in RNA, DNA, which is on, again, the viral detox in detox folders. So.
Okay.
Linda, I made a quick comment earlier. You do look amazing. I feel like you're aging in reverse. Do you attribute that all to the watch, or are you still using any supplements? Or I always wonder, there's so many fad diets. Should you do intermittent fasting? Should you not? We heard the testimonial about the vegetarian. Should you eat dairy, not eat dairy? I mean, it's so overwhelming for all of us. I just wonder if you have anything to share.
I don't know that I do at all, but thank you for the compliment. I do think that, people have different blood types, and I tend to have followed that a little bit more, eat right for your blood type. That's probably one of the things that I've done. And, just use the frequencies for the last couple of years. So I can't say that that's that. And then I probably have to thank my mom and dad, genetics. So thank you. Dorothy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is the first time I've joined a Zoom call. I'm working on the technology.
Good job.
I have some success stories to share with you. I haven't heard the rest of this Zoom call because I just joined in what your topic was for today. But I wanted to let you know, I used to have really bad poison ivy, and I'd end up on steroids, and I hate those, you know. And so I had the WAVwatch. I started looking around. I'm like, well, there's no poison ivy in there, but that's kind of an allergy. You know, I'd run the allergy program, and my poison ivy cleared up in 2 days, where it usually takes a week to 10 days. And
I love it.
I did too. It was like, oh, that was awesome. And I had a bump on my finger, and I asked someone, what is this? It was starting to hurt. They go, that's arthritis. I'm like, heck, I don't want arthritis, you know. So I've been running that for a couple months. That wasn't as immediate, but all of a sudden I noticed the other day, I'm like, hey, that bump's not hurting anymore, and it's gone down. And it's like, maybe the arthritis program is working on that. And I have a friend that's coming over to use it today to give it a try. I had almost immediate success with the weak bladder, running the urethral stricture and the, I forget what the other name was for it, for the fallen bladder. I found that there. And I'm able to pass the bathroom without having to stop at every one of them. So that's been awesome.
Women love that folder.
Oh, I love it. I still wear protection just in case, but I don't have the urgency like I had all those years. And if you've ever had a, what did they do the one time? The stretching of the urethra.
Yep.
You know, and they come back in 6 months. Like hell, I will. You know, that was awful. It's like did that once, and that was enough. So this has been a godsend for that. What else did? I am a smoker, so I do the lingering cough and the COPD and all that. And I used to take Mucinex morning and night for all the phlegm I had. I haven't had to take Mucinex in months. And one of these days, maybe I'll run the addiction one and the nicotine one to stop smoking. But I do enjoy smoking. So in the meantime, this is taking care of that awful smoker's cough I have. And I'm running the parasite program too, because your video about the parasites very much linked to cancer. And there goes that cough. And my sister was just diagnosed with lung cancer, and I told her about the WAVwatch and running the parasite program, taking selenium, things like that. I am a breast cancer survivor. I had breast cancer 8 years ago. Had it removed, refused chemo and radiation, and went on a vitamin regime. And knock on wood, so far so good. And I'm using your watch as a supplement to that. And so far so good. I really enjoy it. I'm spreading the word as much as I can.
Dorothy, that was amazing. Thank you. And you are just, trying different things, and that's what we all have to do is try and share. We have some amazing testimonies from people like you. A friend is coming over and you're going to have her try it today. And I just really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for all you've done.
All right.
How do I mute myself back out of here? Let's see.
You're good. You're fine. Just in the lower left corner. Yeah. Someone had asked how they get the new TF card. You just go online and where it says products, you'll see TF card is available. And then it even gives directions on how to put it in. Take the old one out and put the new one in. All right. Any other questions or comments? We're kind of going over a little bit. I don't want to waste your time. Earl, I do see your hands up, Earl.
What's a TF card?
It's a little card that runs the WAVwatch. It's like the brain of the WAVwatch, but.
So we're supposed to get a new one now?
Only if you want. You already have 850 frequencies, but in the last 2 weeks, I introduced an update that has 1,000 if you're interested in those. It's just a little thing that you change and it makes it read more frequencies.
And how do we go about getting that?
Just go on the website, WAVwatch.com, and click products. And then you'll see TF card. And it shows this little tiny card. It shows a picture of it and directions.
And how much does
it's $60.
Okay, thank you.
And could you hold up your watch and just show how to demonstrate?
Well, I think I tried to do that one other time and it was so hard to see. But see right here, this is the slot that holds the TF card. And it
So
starts to come out.
you just push in with your fingernail and you'll feel a little click and then it pops out. The little hole beside
See?
it's not related to the card coming out.
See, can you see it now? There it goes. That's how little it is. And it came out of this middle slot. And then you just put a new one in and press it back in. See, press it back in. It's very hard to see, and then you have an updated watch that would have 1,000 frequencies on it instead of 850.
Linda, is the hole beside it still a microphone for if people wanted to
Yes.
record their voice? Okay, so don't poke things in that hole if you want to use the microphone. Sometimes that can be an eject button for a card, and that's not what this is.
Oh,
Thanks, Vienna.
It's spring loaded.
Is there a new list or a pamphlet or book that gives the additional?
Yes. And so when you look at TF card, and when you look at ordering the TF card, there's a link right there that says, complete list of 1,000 frequencies. And then when you do order it, Patricia is holding up the new book. There's a new book.
I didn't
that-
realize you were right. It does say 1,000. So you get a new book when you get the TF card.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you
Thank
want to see
you.
before you order, you can just click it. And I've been going over the new frequencies the last, several weeks so that you can know some of the ideas that are on there. Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, someone mentioned the virus, the coronavirus. And in the 850, those are listed. So how is that different than what you're talking about, the RNA, DNA?
It's just a different frequency for shedding and for trying to work with RNA, DNA. So it is not the same thing. They're different frequencies altogether.
So do you still want to run both of them, or is one better?
Yes,
than
I
the
would run
other?
all of them. If you're around a big crowd of people that have COVID, or, you're at some game or something, run the viral detox and then run the viral immune support, which is in the virus area.
Thank you.
I have another quick question, unrelated.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The screensaver on the watch that goes on there, I've cracked that. Is that replaceable? Can I get a new
Yes.
one? Or
Yes,
is that
just go again to products. You can order a new one on the website.
okay? Is that covered under the warranty thing, or you have to pay for that?
Not
new one?
really,
Okay. Okay. And is that something I can replace myself? Remove the old one and
Yes.
put one on?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so Earl.
Linda, I do need to ask this, if you don't mind, because I cracked the face of my watch, and I had put the topping on it when I got the watch, but I caught it right in the corner, and that's what cracked the face all the way across. It's still working. Is that face something that I can replace, or do I have to send it in?
You would have to send it in. Do you have the warranty?
I do, yes.
Okay, so then we'll be able to get that fixed for you, or just replace completely with the warranty. The warranty is worth it, because you never know when some little,
It is.
glitch is going to happen. So yeah, you will get it
I
replaced.
just
So
didn't
just
want to
give
be
us
without it. I haven't sent it back because I didn't want to be without it.
Okay, Earl. So Earl, we're going to give you a third
need
chance
to.
here. Hop on, Earl.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Do you record these Zoom calls? Because a lot of times when I work, I can't join in there. Is that something that I can get access
Yes,
to?
I'm live on Facebook. We're live on Facebook right now. And then you can go to Facebook, WAVwatch Frequency Fanatics at any time and see those again.
Okay.
So there's 60 different ones.
Wow. Okay.
You can pick 60 different ones.
A couple other quick questions. My wife got sick and wound up with Bell's palsy. What should she be doing with that?
Nerves. I have several really good Bell's palsy testimonies. So there is one for Bell's palsy, but I had one lady whose Bell's palsy went away in 25 minutes while I ate dinner with her, and she played dystonia. We muscle tested, and dystonia was the one that worked for her. So give it a try. Run almost every folder in the nerves is what I would run, but specifically Bell's palsy and dystonia could be good ones.
Well,
Okay, when you do that, what kind of time frame do you do on it? I'm kind of new to the watch deal here.
Again, you can set it to loop overnight. You know, there's not a right or wrong, a minimum of 8 minutes. And then you can set it in different ways. And it's strictly your idea. It's not going to hurt you because it is an acoustical frequency and you're listening to frequencies of some kind 24 hours a day.
Couple other
Also-
quick questions.
can I
Um,
add something to that?
Yes.
Before you go to a new question, since most of Bell's palsy in my practice has been people that have herpes simplex viruses, usually herpes simplex 1, you know, and so using, I guess you don't have anything, I don't think, I haven't looked in the new booklet yet, but I guess the virus combo, but you should play some sort of virus thing besides the nerve too.
And herpes
Okay.
complex is on there, 3 different types of herpes complex.
On the new one?
No, it was on the old one too, in the
Really? I
virus
didn't
folder.
find that. Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the
that's
virus
great. Definitely would play that. Yeah. Thank you. I just
Okay.
wanted to add that.
Other quick questions here. Appreciate you taking me. If I wear this watch at work and I'm in stores and they can be quite noisy, is that an issue? Or how do I just crank?
You're
the-
turning it down to 4 so that you can't really hear it. Most people can't hear it at 4. Once in a while,
Okay.
somebody has really sharp ears, but most people can't hear it at 4. No, you don't want it full blast. Your body is absorbing the frequencies your ears are not hearing. That's the whole concept of the watch.
Okay, thank you for that. One last question. I have a mole on my face. What do I use to try to get rid of that?
There's one labeled moles. I would try that one. Skin tags. You can go to skin, play a lot of those, or there's even skin irritations and moles is in there.
Yeah, I guess
So
the
it's
last
a little
one.
bit of just going through the book because there's 1,000 ideas, you know. I know it's hard
Yeah.
to find all of them.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes. All right, Noreen, and then we've got time for just a couple more questions. Noreen,
Yes. How long does it take to start seeing the improvements or changes? Yeah.
it varies. And, you know, I don't want to give anyone too much hope, but I've had things that have, you know, literally changed in 15 seconds on somebody. And then it might be 2 weeks and somebody never feels anything. There is not a set time. There is no time. We do not know. Everybody is so different and individual, and they might not be hitting the right frequency set. It is important to change frequencies. I'll tell you about me. I woke up one morning, I thought I had a sinus infection. I started playing sinuses and it didn't go away. So then it segued into a headache. And so I played headache stuff and it didn't go away. And then I think I played colds and flu maybe, because I still was having all these problems and it didn't go away. And I'm going, wow, the whole day long on my own watch and it's not working. I was disgusted. And I went to bed that night and I think I still had it maybe on colds and flu ideas. And in the middle of the night, I woke up literally screaming, and the top portion of my mouth was like on fire. And I should say I was screaming silently, but like this. And luckily I had my watch on, and for some reason I thought of bone infection. And I tapped the bone infection, and instantly I felt energy go up this arm. I felt it go all the way up my shoulder, up the side of my neck, and into my mouth. And I literally could feel every little up and down as it went through my teeth. And it was gone. That pain was gone. So that was what was bothering me all day long. I just didn't know it. And when I found the right thing, it was instantly gone. So that whole movement was 10 seconds or, something like that. So you don't know. So you just have to keep working.
What about for like the detox, the detox one?
Yes. Keep playing the detox one. You never know what you might have that needs detox more and more.
So keep
good luck
playing.
on that, Noreen. Is there any specifics that you're trying to work on? I don't know if we covered this another time, if I answered that for you.
Well, the Parkinson's.
Parkinson's. Okay. So yeah, Parkinson's, play that particular folder, but then also play all of the nerves. So I've had a couple people that had really good luck that had Parkinson's, but they played tremors and it was inside the nerve folder. It was one of the choices in nerves.
How many times do they play it? Do you know?
I don't know.
No.
Do not know.
I guess I just need to know how to decide when it's not working.
I would
just
loop
needs
it all
more
night
time.
long on tremors. You know, if that's your major problem, loop it all night long, several times. Play it all day long, all night long. Give it a chance.
Muscle test.
Can I ask?
Thanks. Keep going.
I got
muscle test.
I got to bring up something else here for Parkinson's. I've had 2 of my naturopathic patients who thought they had Parkinson's. They didn't. They had Borrelia burgdorferi with Babesia, and some of the work that I study says before you ever decide somebody has Parkinson's, be sure to eliminate, because it tests as bacteria, the Borrelia burgdorferi and even H. pylori, making sure you eliminate all those, but specifically the Borrelia burgdorferi can cause tremors for sure. 2 people right now who are getting better,
Patricia,
thank God.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that, because they've done a study with 14 Parkinson's people, and you know it's an older study, but all they did was give them it was prescriptions for Lyme disease, and their Parkinson's went away.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I can't remember all this stuff all the time. So thank you for mentioning that. Very, very true. So again,
just going through it with
that's
2 of
the
my
idea. Play different things. Play different things.
But can I say one more thing about the Parkinson's or about the Borrelia burgdorferi? We have never talked in this group, well, I haven't been in it for very long, but about homeopathy. And I find adding homeopathy onto either the whole food nutrition or herbals or whatever, you know, else you're wanting to use in addition to this. But I just have to put in a plug for homeopathy, particularly Des Bio. I've had a lot of good luck with their combinations of, well, now they call it boba homo, but Borrelia burgdorferi. And anyway, yeah, I've gotten a lot of results with that, and using this machine too. And then, yeah.
So homeopathy is a form of frequency in a bottle.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Good point. Yeah.
That's what it is. All right. See, is it Vinny? And then we'll probably be kind of shutting it down.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Vinny?
Hi there, Linda. I'm in Southeast Pennsylvania, and I love the watch. Quickly, I wanted to say that I was having back pain, and I played the back pain. It didn't help. I played muscle strain. I played low back. It didn't help. So finally, for some reason, kidney stones, 2 frequencies there, caught my eye. I played them. I played them a couple times. 95%, the pain is gone. It's amazing. Thank you. My question is there somewhere on the website where I can download the new list, just see everything on the list of the 1,000 frequencies with the new SIM card?
Yes, just go to WAVwatch.com, select products, and then select the TF card. And in that space, there's one that says, you know, click here to download 1,000 frequencies.
I see where you can buy it, but I was just hoping to see a list.
No, you just click the list right there. You don't have to buy it. You just click it and you can see the list.
I don't see the list.
It was there the other day.
The new booklet. I got it. I'm sorry. I got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I don't know.
Are you still working on the venom frequency?
I did not come up with anything on the update. Yeah. Now I heard nicotine, you know, so there's a lot out there about nicotine and the venom. And so there is a frequency for nicotine.
Oh,
so the one it's a nicotine detox. It's in the detox, but that would be very, very similar, you know, and it might have the resonant frequency that would be what some people are wanting.
So thank you. We're praying for you. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you. All right. I think we're fading out unless anybody just has anything else.
Linda,
Yes.
Janie again, and a real fast comment about acute pain on your new watch. It's wonderful. You can knock out pain real quickly. And
Acute pain. Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking
Okay.
about that for the lady with the tailbone problem. I would almost bet that that would really, really help. It's helped
Yep.
practically everything I've ever tried. So, and it's
And
really
that is a new one. Yeah.
fast. It's over the,
All
it's
right.
an inflammation folder. And I think
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate it. Pass the word around and maybe share yours one day with somebody else, with a friend or a loved one. All right. Bye-bye.
Well.